Hello and welcome to the month in review for Evil Pig Productions. I am Jonathan Moore.
I'm Megan Slay.
I'm Natalie Thompson.
And we have some exciting news. One of the enemies are finally done in Feline Frontier.
I mean, Erdchicks have always been done.
One of the moving enemies is finally done in Feline Frontier. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, then. So we're actually making some pretty good headway. In fact, Natalie has been working a lot.
Yeah.
It's been a very busy month for us over here. Megan has been finishing up on quite a few bosses, primarily just Shell.
No. I'm not finishing up on quite a few bosses. I finished Lizork. I think I did finish Angler Spirit, but that's because he was really close to being done.
Yes.
Lizork and Angler Spirit have been in the process for several months because I've been on and off working on them, like doing other things in between. And so I finally switched gears and was like, all right, I guess I'll work on them. And then I finished them, and now I'm working on Shulk.
And Shulk, I feel like you still have trouble with trying to figure out how you're going to do the back flop.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like thinking about that animation I'm going to have to do. I already have an idea of what it's going to be, and I don't want to do it.
I mean, I feel like all you would need to do is, I feel like maybe the back feet can do the little hop, and then slams forward.
He's going to have to, like, stand up on his hind legs and do, like, a little twirl and then fall over on his back. And, like, that's going to be a bunch of hand-drawn stuff. And it's basically be like Lizork whenever he flips over after being on his back or turns around.
Or whenever he climbs up on the wall.
Yeah.
It's gonna look really good though. So.
It will.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking, I was playing the game and I was like, what do I think this game's selling point is? And I think the game's selling point is probably how beautiful it's going to look. Like the first scene with the parallax.
I was a bit worried about there.
But the parallax looks so pretty. And then you go into the cave and I feel like it kind of loses something. So I was wondering if maybe we should think about parallax more in the cave
Yeah,
area.
I was already thinking about that. I talked to Jonathan. I'm just like, when I made the backgrounds, I didn't really, like, the first one I did really think about it, and then the other ones I didn't. And so I was just like, I'm probably going to go back to some backgrounds, make some separate ones to fit some of the layouts, or, like, the level design better, and also make some, like, parallax stuff, like, stalagmites and stalactites and rocks to move
One
more.
thing that I want to say as well about that is I feel like the stalagmites and stalactites that I made for the caves, I don't know. I feel like they're not...
I feel like there's too many of them. I think
There are.
if we just... I think they're fine as long as we just get rid of a lot of it.
They hide a lot of my beautiful background.
And then Megan can do like some better illustrated ones that are in the very back that you can... They're going to have to be big though because you go up the level and to the side. So yeah.
Well, you saw the parallax for the Giga Electro background.
Yeah, that looked good.
Okay, then so you're saying fewer.
Yeah, I think there should be fewer of it so we could see more of the background.
Okay. I was mainly just going to change it to where it's not the little speckles. Because I feel like the speckles, I don't know. I mean, it harkens back to some of the old Mario games. That was what I was mainly basing it off of.
Are you saying speckles as in the parts in front of the player?
No.
He's talking about in the stalactites. There's a little like purple and little like
Yeah,
they
little
look kind of
highlights.
like
Oh.
gems.
Yeah, those things, and that's in every stalagmite and stalactite.
Yeah.
The cave, they all have the same kind of speckles, and like I was saying, I was going off of one of the old Mario games, thinking like it looks good in there, but then I'm looking at the old Mario game and this game. The old Mario game, the reason why I worked in there is because everything looked like that.
Yeah.
So it all fit together. Whereas this game, it's all this different stuff, and then all of a sudden, these speckled stalagmites and stalactites that were just thrown in there.
It's all my fault for making these amazing backgrounds.
I don't know if it'll be that big an issue.
I didn't want to say it, but yes.
Because I've been staring at it a lot, and I don't feel like I think the art style of the stalactites don't match anything else.
The only thing I would do would be to add some shading on them.
Yeah, you could do that.
But otherwise, I don't think it's.
I
that
guess
big
the
of a deal.
speckles are fine. It just needs
Yeah.
to be more pronounced.
Yeah, it could be that
Because right now they're, for instance, the ones that are in the foreground that are like not foreground, the front of player.
yeah.
It's like it blends in. It's like I didn't
That's
even
true, it
know
does.
that was there,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden it is there. Only issue that I have with that is that there are some stalagmites and stalactites that actually go on top of each other.
Like you don't know they're on top of each other?
Yes. Well, no. Like it's supposed to
Oh,
blend in with.
Yeah.
Oh.
At which point we couldn't do that anymore because they would actually
Yeah,
have more.
that would ruin it.
Yeah.
I was about to say that would make it stand out more, so you would know. And then you said that they're supposed to blend in. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, right now it's good that they blend in, but it's also bad that they blend in. However, if we make it so that they don't blend in, it'll be bad because then they can't.
I do think
Blend
it's
in.
kind of cool that it blends in. Like when I'm running around with the character and all of a sudden my character disappears and then comes back out, I feel like, ooh, I just went through a cave. You know?
I feel like I need to look at it more,
Yeah, you probably should.
and I'll make some edits, but
But-
I'll need to make a highlight and a shadow layer.
I do know it might not be a problem because if they're supposed to overlap, right? But we're cleaning a bunch out because Megan's going to add in a different background for
I could just
parallax.
clear out
Yeah,
a
then we
lot of
won't
it.
have the overlap anymore on the ones that need it.
And I've been actually testing that out with the newer levels where it hasn't really been overlapping all too much. I've been trying to just avoid that entirely, and it's been working out so far. I will say that it does get, I guess, it feels to me like it gets repetitive on some of the stalagmites and stalactites, but I feel like also whenever you're playing the game, a lot of people aren't going to notice. Though I say that, and I know that people are going to notice. Someone out there is going to spend all their time focusing in on the little details. But oh well.
I mean,
I don't know about that. Sometimes, like, I'll be looking at a picture like, oh, this is pretty, and then I'll immediately be drawn to something that looks off. I'm like, oh, that character's foot looks weird. And it's like, everything else is beautiful and gorgeous, but then there's like one little thing, and then I'm just immediately drawn to it. So maybe instead of people looking over it constantly, they'll just be immediately drawn to it.
hopefully it doesn't
Well, that's-
look bad.
That's what I was saying, is that there's
Okay.
going to be...
I think when I'm looking at it, I am trying to make it look good because I do think that's the main draw. I do think that your art is really pretty and
Thanks.
and it's different, I think, than a lot of other 2D games. So that's probably what makes our game stand out a little bit.
I'm also hoping for good mechanics at the end.
Well, me too, but I don't know how unique they'll be compared to every other game.
True. I know that one mechanic that I really like in it is the mechanic of passing out, then having to go and save.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that you technically don't really have lives in this game. Your lives are your crew members,
Mhm.
and then you have a chance to go and regain them. You also have a chance to lose them forever.
Yeah,
And that
so-
affects the endings.
Hmm.
I think that's cool too.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, no, never mind. I was about to say, save them, and they have to rest up, but no, because that makes it overcomplicated. I feel like.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you remember how we talked about they go back to the ship and they're not instant healed, it takes time. I was thinking maybe they should just be instant healed because there's no enemies in the planet's surface anyway, so you have to run through the planet's surface to get to the ship because you want to be healed and you already went all that way.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, they already had to go out of their way to go back there, so.
True.
They already-
So I might as well just be healed.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that sounds good. Everyone just looked at me, just like,
Megan, you have to be more on your feet. And now you're doing this whole thing again with your feet.
It's comfy to sit like this, for me.
Yeah, I know. Other than animations.
Let's ignore how Megan's sitting. Let's go on to animations.
Other than animations, or I mean, like drawing the animations, Megan has been actually working in Unity.
Yeah, Natalie had to teach me how to work in Unity, and I was like really confused at first. And sometimes, every time I go back to work on enemies, I'm like, Natalie, how does this work again? I feel dumb.
No, you'll get it.
But yeah, I've been like because she at first would put the animations in, and then I would tell her like, oh no, this is going too fast. You make this character slower. Do this. And then she like, I was like, how about I just do it? And she's like, yeah, it'll be easier. And so I'm going through and making the enemies like their attack speed correct, and working on the timing between that stuff. And one of the things was I worked on one of the enemies, and like their idol, I made its idol, and then it has this one attack animation. And at first I made it one long animation, and then I asked Jonathan how long this one part's supposed to go, and he told me. I was like, this doesn't make sense why I'm making it one long animation. So I learned to break up the animation so it's easier for Natalie. So it like does its first part of its attack, which is like kind of like a build up, its actual attack, which happens over the course of however long it does, and then its ending part of its attack.
And I think she realized that, because we were working on the Electrocutie movement, because Jonathan was like, we need movement, enemies need to move.
I get in my moments where I look at it and I'm just like, things need to do things.
And I was making the pathing for the Electrocutie, but I couldn't keep the animation because she made it one long animation. It's an idle animation that jumps up and it floats down, jumps up, floats down. She made it one animation, and I was making the path, and I was like, I don't want it to always have to go in the same interval. Yeah. And so we learned then to break it up, and so she's doing that with all the enemies now.
Yeah, it was really funky looking at first because it would go up, but then its animation wouldn't line up properly, and so we just broke it apart, and now it looks a lot better.
Yeah, I had to go into the code and be like, when it goes up, it does the jump animation.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of Electrocutities as well, it took the longest time to describe how I wanted it to move, and then I remembered that bloopers
Oh yeah, from
actually
Mario.
make the same movement. However, guys, it's so difficult to try and find bloopers in the actual game of Mario.
Let me just tell you a little college story. So when I was taking 3D animation, our final project for the year was making a walking animation for like this little ball dude. And I was just like, I'm an angry person, so I'm going to make an angry animation. And so I made this kind of like stompy thing. And my teacher looked at it and he liked it, but then he told me to reference Donald Duck, when he's angry and he's walking and stuff like that. And I looked online on YouTube, just like Donald Duck, angry, walking, like all these trying to find animations. I could not find one, so I just kind of gave up. But it's so hard to find, like,
I feel like that would be easy to find.
I know, right?
Donald Duck is known for being angry.
Exactly. It's so hard to find specific animations though online. It's just I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad at searching for things.
I mean, the way that I found the bloopers was I actually found a 100% walkthrough of the entirety of
yeah, but
the
I
game,
can't find an episode of Donald Duck on YouTube, like a whole episode.
I bet you can.
Probably.
Somewhere.
I didn't look hard enough. I did end up finding a YouTube video of this girl doing it, and it was kind of silly looking, but like she wasn't actually angry, and she's kind of like laughing as she did it. I was like, this is good enough. My animation ended up turning out really well, and my teacher really liked it.
Did you get
I'm
an
glad.
A?
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
Hey. Past A's.
Yeah. I tried my handed animation this month. It looked awful. So Megan's gonna redo it now.
I really liked how my favorite part of the animation was how the ship went like one way and then it,
I wanted to make it dynamic because if it was just going straight,
zigzagged.
if it was just going straight, it'd look boring.
I mean, if I was just going straight, it would be an actual launch with a shuttle.
Well, no, I know that. But I was watching tutorials online, and it was of a spaceship landing, and they were like, and we want some curves here, or else it looks boring, and we want the user, like, yes, it's coming into land, but we don't want it to just land straight down. We want it to come from the side and come down like this at an angle, so interesting.
I know. In my mind I was thinking about how to fix it, and I have an idea. Where
Okay.
it comes in, it does a curve. It comes in like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
but it's like it's like a gradual curve.
it should
Okay.
not go one way and it's like, oh, you know what? Let's change directions this way.
Natalie told me that she wanted to look like it was going over the Earth's atmosphere, kind of like the orbit thing, and then like going out. And I like understood that, and I didn't draw the picture wide enough for that, but
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
yeah. But it looked really weird because you have it go over the Earth or the planet, and then it like goes over the atmosphere and stuff, and then it like goes to the edge of the picture, and then kind of like turns, and then goes up the like. It's so silly looking.
It just makes me think like a botched launch.
Also, the thruster part that eventually breaks off the ship.
Oh, that was
That was a weird bug.
Yeah, that was a bug. I didn't do that.
Sure, let's blame it on the program.
But the ship is supposed to separate, like the shuttle part is supposed to separate from this like thruster thingy, and like
Technical terms, guys.
yeah, technical terms. And she like for some reason it was just like it would kind of go almost off of the like outside of the Earth thing. And then, like, it would just kind of, like, fall off and disappear. It was really weird.
I'm pretty sure what was happening, if anyone wants to know the technical reason, is because it's a 2D game, and I have the layers on the z-axis at different planes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I was rotating the ship, I think that the back of the ship, the thruster, whatever thing that drops, must have been on a different Z layer than the front of the ship, and it was going behind the background.
How did it go behind the background, though?
That's true.
Like,
Well,
I saw one...
No, I think it was going behind the background because the rotation was moving because of the animation. So right there, the rotation was moving, causing the z-axis to change for that one item. So even though it was in the foreground of the background originally, because it was animated, it was going into the background.
I'm just like, I don't know what you're saying.
My mind was making the DSL connection.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like, my face when Natalie's talking about that is like...
Though I understand what you are saying, because I also have to mess with the program, but the way that was explained.
I tried. I thought, well,
You
okay.
did a good job explaining. You don't have to explain it again, Ashley. Please, spare all of us, including the audience.
I'm gonna rewind it, so maybe it was easier to understand. It's okay, I don't have to. I guess whoever knows anything about it will get it, and the people who don't, I'm sorry.
I told Natalie and Jonathan we should ship the game as is with that cutscene.
No.
We can't do that, because it was... Okay, so the cutscene didn't look completely awful until I opened the game design document, because I was like, okay, what are the words they say at the beginning? Because I was referencing the, what is it called?
Storyboard.
The storyboard, yeah. I was referencing the storyboard Jonathan made. And so I just opened the game design document to put in the words. And I read the first paragraph, and it was completely different than the storyboard. And I was like, oh, there's a countdown? He doesn't even have that in the storyboard. So I had to move everything over. And it made all the backgrounds not line up. And then Jonathan and Megan were like, we want to see what you have. And they're like, it looks completely awful. I was like, well, at one
It looked
point...
even worse.
Yeah, at one point, it looked decent, I think.
Did you still have the
Well,
zigzag?
yes, the ship would still look the same, but like the backgrounds were lining up, and the timing was accurate. I felt like.
At one point there was no background, so it did that weird like window repeating thing.
Yeah, and that's only because I had to move things over.
Yeah.
So.
But I think that was perfect, and that's how the cutscene should be and how it should stay.
We already hit gold.
Yeah, it's perfect as is. It's art. It's beautiful. It speaks to me. It makes me feel emotions.
What are those emotions?
Emotions I've never had. I can't describe them.
Okay.
No, it's my bad. We should have probably gone over the storyboard, like, before I started on the cutscene. Because Jonathan knew it wasn't right when he made it, because Megan complained about it, but I thought, oh, he put in all the important stuff for me. That's what I thought. But he didn't, and I should have figured since it was wrong on Megan's part, it was probably wrong on my part.
It was funny. We were working on it, or I was working. Natalie was working. And then she turns to me about She just seemed so frustrated about it. And she's just like, "This
Yes,
storyboard."
I messed up. I will be better for next time. The next storyboard is gonna be an actual cutscene in the game. So.
Oh, I was wondering about that. So I was trying to look through the game design document. Like, I was like, I'm gonna reference this more because obviously the storyboard was wrong. I should look at the game design document, right? But I was reading through it, and a lot of it was like, in the next scene, you walk in, there's enemies in the room, and you just walk through the top and you leave. And then the next room, there's these enemies in the room, and I was like, but where are the cutscenes?
The cutscenes are in some of the rooms.
I think.
Yeah, but you should have made them a different color or something so I could find them easily.
Listen, guys, I understand. Next time will be better.
To be fair, though, in game design documents, you have to like talk about each scene and be like, these enemies are gonna be in this scene and stuff like that.
I didn't really mind that. I just wanted to work on I wanted to put in the scenes for
She wants it to be color coded, so that way you can tell what is just explaining what like enemies that are in the scene, and then what is the actual cutscene.
Yeah, because I wanted to just add more scenes into the game so that I could add the cutscenes where they're supposed to be, so I could order the build settings, and I couldn't read through it all. Like, I could have, but I was falling asleep.
I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, color coding would have been a good thing. So,
But it's good to know for the next one.
is there anything else that anybody wants to cut off their chest for next time?
Some of the animations you have laid out, they need to be more detailed. And that's why I always have to go to you and I'm just like, how does this backflop even work? How does this happen? And then like
Fair enough.
And then like Lizork had like the animation where he falls from the ceiling, and I was like, there's no climb animation that you've made for me, and so I had to make a wall climb animation. And then I was just like, how do these enemies turn? Do they just flip? And so I had to make turn animations for some of the bosses.
I do think that going along with that a little bit, on the programming side, like, if you went more into detail on how they move, like, we just talked about the puff-ups and how they ram 6 spaces ahead, or they
And
see
the
people,
sight
and
everything.
and when they follow the enemy and when they give up and things like that.
Oh
would be
yes,
good to
talk
have.
more about the AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that probably would have been good too.
But we're figuring it all out.
This is the first video game we've made, so...
It's a learning process for everyone.
Especially me. Next design document should be better.
That one I'm making.
I mean, I'm gonna have to help you with it.
Yeah.
I think I was helping a little bit too.
I'm color coordinating mine.
Yeah. What?
No, I can't talk about anything with that. I was about to bring up. I was gonna say one word: Tetris. I'm gonna let I'm gonna let that sizzle in your think pans for a little bit. Why does it say think pans?
Let that sizzle in your think pants.
Yeah, we've decided not
Pants.
Did you say pants?
I said pans.
Oh.
As
Yeah.
in like a cooking utensil.
I like pants better. That sounds even weirder.
Sizzle in your think pants.
Yeah. Get your thinks pants on and sizzle in them.
Your thinking pants.
Your thinking pants. Sizzle your thinking pants.
Yeah, we've decided not to, like...
We decided not to have Jonathan speak anymore.
Well, I was gonna say do too much with the next game. Like, it's on our minds because obviously we are excited, obviously. But this game is also exciting, and we're gonna finish this one. And
Yeah,
then, yeah.
It's more of like it's not. It is exciting, but it's more like we are focused towards the future.
Yeah.
We're making this game, but we are ready for the future to come.
Yeah. And so we have an idea, obviously, about where we want our company to go, but we also know we're focusing all our efforts.
People are making so many jokes, by the way,
Hmm?
about the whole, what if this game doesn't get successful at all, but the next game gets wildly successful, and we're known for that game specifically, and making games like that. And it's just like,
I'll be happy because it's my game.
But what if we get stuck?
Making those types of games? I don't think so.
Yeah,
the
because-
next one, like after.
I don't think that'll happen either because even what's that game? There was one game and it was really successful, but
Minecraft.
I was gonna say, but the company just put it out as a promo for their other game, which is
Oh.
nothing like that game.
Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, so even if it was,
They haven't even made the next game. It
Well-
was supposed to come out 2019.
oh really?
Yeah.
They still have the rest of the year.
Yeah, we still have.
But see, they made a game. You know, it's a promo game or whatever. But they made it. People loved it, and they're not stuck making those type of games.
I can't wait for their actual game because the promo was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, if you haven't played Doki Doki Literature Club, it is a fantastic dating sim with nothing wrong. You should play it.
I would call it a visual novel.
Yeah, it's a visual novel.
It is a dating
I guess
sim.
what it does show is that their company can write stories because
Yeah.
Oh, they can definitely write stories.
yeah.
Yep, interesting stories.
It's a fantastic dating
So
sim.
as long as they put their story aspect in all their games, no matter what type, people should be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So if people really like our next game, you know, there's probably a reason for it, and we should probably look into what they're saying they like about it, and then apply that to our other games.
I'll have to think about what they would say, what they like about it, and how we would apply that to the other games.
Well, it would depend what they said. Yeah. Like, let's say they really like the game we're currently working on right now, and we're moving into our next game next, right? Like, how could we use what they said they liked about this game, whether it be the art or, I don't know, something with the controls, just something, you know? We could say, oh, well, maybe we could use that, you know?
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of our next game, there's an Easter egg I start working on for this game.
It's the secret boss, right?
No. Not for that secret boss. Okay, so a while back, like months and months ago, maybe even last year, I said I was working on an Easter egg that would hint to our next game. And, like, I stopped working on that a long time ago, and I'm just like, I really need to finish that. But I've been working on boss and stuff, which is more important. But, yeah, there's an Easter egg. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be kind of obvious, because it's going to be in the background. And it's you're gonna see it, and it will hint to our next game.
It's gonna be in the background. You're gonna see it.
It's just if you notice it, really. Sometimes background objects you don't really notice, right?
It's
Technically,
animated.
we
Oh.
are also gonna be putting it in a place that the character doesn't have to go to.
Ooh.
Honestly, the way that I'm making it now, Feline Frontier, the character doesn't even have to go to any of the side places. They don't have to go to the wasteland. They don't have to go to the hot springs. They don't have to go to the glacier, abandoned lab, forgotten city. They don't have to go anywhere. They just go straight from their place down to.
That means what we should probably do is we should probably get the game working all the way to the victory screen and all the endings and then make the side places.
Yep.
Okay.
I need to make Kirk then.
We're
I
getting-
still haven't made him.
We're getting really close to being able to implement the first boss, like being able to go through their animations and
That's
stuff.
that's my main goal right now is to actually get a playable area, just a slice of the game.
Well, it pretty much is right now. Like, once Pufferfish is done, like, the only...
What? I'm sorry. What was that?
Oh, I mean, Puff-Ups are done.
There we go.
Once pop-ups are done, like, that's the only enemies in the first area. There's only 3 enemies, and I've already gotten 2 of them done, so puff-ups are the last one, and then the boss, and you could already walk through all those places.
I was very confused whenever you said 3 enemies. I was like, what's the third enemy? And then I was like,
Little urchins.
urchins. I don't classify urchins as enemies.
They're obstacles. They're
Yeah,
not
they're-
enemies.
Yeah, they're more like
And they do
obstacles.
damage,
What
And
do
they blink.
obstacles?
like an enemy. And they have an enemy trigger on them.
So, programming-wise, technically, they're enemies.
Yes.
I'm really like interested on how I'm gonna animate Crad because it's gonna be tween animation, and so far it's mostly been frame by frame animation.
Mm-hmm.
If you look like you shook your head, we're like, no, it's not tween animation.
Listen, I'm confused. Animate Crad?
Yeah,
Isn't he already...
We gotta put him together.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he has a lot of
Crad.
parts.
He was
He's a-
he was the yeah.
If he wasn't so complicated, I already looked at him.
You know, actually thinking back to Crad, whenever he's dead,
He has to sit there.
I know that.
Okay.
I still have to draw that. Ugh.
But what happens to his claws?
Maybe they just dangle down.
Just
Yeah.
kind of dangle down
Like sitting on the floor all dead, like, right?
with a hole. going
What would
up?
his claws do otherwise? Blow off? Just poof.
Yo.
I mean, I can see one of his claws blowing up because it has like electronics on it, but the other
Yeah.
claw wouldn't.
That would make sense.
Why would it be a hole?
No, there would be
A hole through him
Yeah, but I don't get why.
because you're shooting up at him.
Couldn't. But couldn't it just be his body limp there, and then the top of his shell acts like a platform, so you jump to the side platform and jump on his back, and then jump up through the door? Because, like, it's so high, that room, that you really need that platform right there.
Okay, so the way that I feel like the room right now though it's not enough room, and if there was enough room, it wouldn't be.
Why isn't there enough room?
I need to look at it again.
Man, you guys are talking about this, and in my mind, I'm already thinking like I need to go back and work on Crad and make a death animation. In my head, I'm already thinking about the animation. I'm just
I
like,
actually do think we need to adjust the room size a little bit, because it was perfect at one point, but ever since I adjusted the camera to accept parallaxing, the room is a little bit too big or too small to fit the camera, and I know we wanted it to be a static room for the boss where it didn't move, so we either need to make the camera slightly bigger and raise the ceiling like 1 square, or stretch it 1 square to the side. But I think raising the ceiling would probably be easier.
Raising the ceiling is gonna
Yeah.
be easier. Especially with what I have in mind, if we were to do the whole jumping on his back instead of jumping through a hole in his body. Yeah, I feel like we could do that.
Okay.
so I don't have to draw a hole, him blowing up. Okay. cool.
Possibly not.
Oh.
I still have to look at it,
Okay.
so you might be clear on it though.
I'm still gonna make a death animation for him because
Well,
I just
I
thought
mean,
about
Well,
it.
it
he
should have a
is
death
going to
animation.
die.
Yeah.
He's not going to just sit there and live, but that does sound pretty legit.
Oh, you know what?
He
Speaking
talks
of-
to you every time you come in the
That is
room.
like, welcome back, traveler.
I guess since you defeated me, I'll let you into the treasure room.
Guys.
I was like, speaking of that thing you were talking about for the next time, you need to make freaking death animations for your list. There's no, when I look at the list of animations I have to do with, like, there's no death animations except for the cat. And I know some of your bosses have specific death animations, like Crad.
Well, that's why you read the story. Yes, I will fix that too. I'll make it so that it actually explains how they die.
You need to make a list and then be like, on this page, like with the list, on this page, there's a description of the animation.
You could probably just color code it if you didn't want to do that, and tell Megan what color they are, and she could just scroll through.
That too.
Color code it as in color code the boss, or color
No,
code
like-
the specific like
So
section?
what she means,
So like, I get it. So I think I get it anyways. There's the attacks. That's a color code. And there's death animation. That's a color code. And then there's like that.
I guess.
I think so. You said just a minute ago that you wrote it into the story, and I was thinking if it was mixed into the story, then if you color coded
I should
it.
probably make it separate. Is
Okay.
what I'm saying. I should probably like include it in. But color coding a whole lot of things does sound pretty useful.
Yeah, and you could have it in the at the beginning. You know, the little what the colors mean and stuff. So when you're looking for things, it's easy.
I
So
think-
there's.
I think you should make like an Excel spreadsheet kind of thing. Be like, list out all the animations. Like this boss have a walking animation, and then you like write their name on like another on the row, and then next to their name is the page number where you go and describe the walking animation for them, or attack animation.
An Excel spreadsheet that acts as a table of contents.
Yeah.
It should also be color coded. I work by colors.
Okay. An Excel spreadsheet that acts
Or
as
just
a table
rows
of
and columns.
Yeah.
I mean, what is a table of contents? But
I said.
Well, yeah, but the table of contents.
I guess this is more of an index.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an index, not a table of contents.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Why don't I just make an index in the back of the book then? In the back of the design document?
Because then we'd have to find the back of the book. Like, we could just open the
What do you
Excel
mean you had to
sheet.
find the back of the book?
You would just put it in the animation section.
I guess if it was a separate file in Excel. Then you
Yeah, it
just
would be
open up the
easier to
Excel.
open and find the stuff.
I don't think it should be a separate file. I'm just saying in the Word document, make a column and row thing.
I like it being a
table.
separate file because if you put it in the Word document, which we don't use a Word document, so if we did, maybe that'd be easier because right now I'm using a PDF.
Yes.
And it's really
Oh.
hard to scroll through the PDF,
I'm
which is
using a
like
Word document.
why I like it being on a separate document.
Gotcha. So we have a few things to work on
Yeah.
in regard to that. Well, that I have to work on in regard to that.
I just realized Natalie put in dust clouds that I made.
Yeah,
Another note.
I made it so that when the character walks, there's a dust cloud. When they run, there's a different dust cloud. When they jump, there's a dust cloud for jumping. But the only thing I can't make work yet is when you land, I can't get the landing dust cloud right. But I'm working on it.
What's wrong with it?
I just don't know how to tell it right now that it is not in the air, but it is landed. And when I say that, because if I say it is grounded, then it's like, oh, it's constant dust clouds coming up
Oh.
under your feet. And then if I say, well, see, I've tried to do this, and then I realized that it contradicts itself to say, if it isn't grounded, and then it is grounded, that doesn't work because it reads, it isn't grounded, and so it'll
Why don't
never
you,
read.
Why don't you have it so that the animation plays once?
I can't do that. It doesn't fix the problem, is the thing. Because it doesn't know when to activate. That's
So,
the issue.
You jump, or you fall off. Is there a read for whenever you're in the air?
It's just if you're grounded or you're not grounded right now.
There should be a way to where if it says like if you are this and then this.
Yeah, see, I thought that. That's what I was trying to do. But I don't know how to do that. Like, and I Googled it. And people were like, I kind of solved it by separating the jump and the falling animations. So maybe I have to go in and separate that, but I don't want to because there's so many characters. So I'm thinking if I can find another workaround
Isn't
for
the
it.
falling and jump animation separate anyway?
No,
No?
no,
What?
no,
You didn't separate it?
no.
Oh.
If you want to go in and fix it for all the characters, you can, Megan. But there's like how many characters?
6.
Six.
Yeah, 6. So you have to go in and
I would just
make 12 different animations. I don't want to do that.
I mean, it's just taking frames off the first animation. It'd just be making 6 animations and editing 6. It wouldn't be making whole new animations. You're just looking at me like, no, Megan. No, it's not. Like,
There has to be a way though, where it's
I'm still surprised that the fall and jump animations are together and not separate.
Well, I have a part animation, which I guess you could technically call the falling animation, except it isn't because it still goes upward when you press it. It's just the part animation because once you jump off the ground, you were like, change it so they... I don't know why I did it. I think it's so if you're like shooting downward and then you shoot back upward, you know, but you're still in the air, it doesn't do the jump bottom part
Oh.
again. You know, but it's still going up. It doesn't indicate when it's going down. So I'd have to go in. I think it's a code problem. I've tried to go in, figure out the code. I have a vertical button that tells you the vertical up and down, but right now it's programmed to W and S, which you don't actually use to go up and down, but it's programmed that way because to go back onto the ship, you press the up button, which is W. And the space bar is what puts you in the sky, but that doesn't actually change anything with the vertical axis. So I need to go onto the character and look at the transforms probably for the up and down transforms and say, hey, when it's going down, look at the landing.
Have you only tried if statements? Have you tried Boolean?
I did try a Boolean, but if statements are Booleans.
No.
I mean, they are, because
If
if this is
statements-
true, then do this. That's what it's saying.
Yes, but Boolean is... No,
I like Jonathan's face just froze there for like,
there's a specific reason why I use Boolean instead of if in some scenarios. I can't remember what that reason is, though.
Well, I want it, so maybe, I think I know what I have to do. I think since I walked through this and I've been talking to you guys, I think I just need to go into the code. I need to find the player. I need to look at the player transforms for the Y, I think it would be.
Why?
Yeah, the Y-axis. And then I need to say, hey, if the Y-axis is
It's a wonderful time to play.
going downward, but I'd need to find its peak, so I'd have to keep track of its peak to know when it's going downward, right? And if it's going downward, then it is grounded, play it once, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that would work, because I can't say if it isn't grounded, because it's like, well, if it isn't grounded, I'm not looking at you. You know, I'm not going to play the if grounded statement you asked for next. So...
Okay, then.
I think maybe that would work. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to try. I don't know if anyone understands what I'm saying.
I don't. I definitely don't. I'm just
I
sitting
mean,
here like,
we will see if that works.
Yeah.
I still stay grounded and say that Boolean statements are definitely different from if statements in some capacity.
Okay, well, Boolean statements are different than if statements, but if statements only take in Booleans.
But with if statements, you can say if this, then this happens.
Yeah.
Whereas Boolean,
If this is true, it takes in a Boolean. If this Boolean is true, then do this.
but a Boolean and an if statement can be used in conjunction, where it says if this Boolean is. You know what, Natalie? I need you to stop.
I'm sorry. I'll show you later what I mean, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. What else have we worked on or done?
Are we gonna go back to the whole?
I'm just trying to get back on topic, and I'm trying not to ramble about coding.
By the way, guys, I'm not gonna say anything. I was just leading them in a false sense of security. So
Let's see. I wish we should do another playthrough thing just for the Surface so they can see the parallax at some point. That's pretty cool.
we can just easily make a not really a recording. Technically, I could record it now.
yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Technically.
We could do it as a speed paint alternative for Megan.
Oh, that'd be nice for next month.
Yeah.
Don't shake your head at me.
No? I thought you guys were talking.
I'll be doing that, and Megan will be doing a speed paint.
Why?
I'll just be playing the game. How about that? You don't have to worry about a speed paint.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm happy.
What was the poster for this one?
Okay, so we're working on a website,
Mhm.
and
That's the poster?
no. The poster for this month is going to be the header thing for the website.
Oh, the banner.
Yeah, the banner. There we go.
By the way, when you showed me what you had so far, I was thinking that if you extended that color out and made it opaque at the bottom a little bit, like opacity it, gradient it downward, then I could just make the background color of the website mesh with it, so it looks like, it's all one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I like how you said opacity it opacity. Oh, you see, I
Okay,
can't
so
even
it's
say
a
that.
gradient. So you have it like a tan color right now. So if you gradient it, but with opacity, not so much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should make it longer, stretch it down, kind of, and then just like erase it.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand that now.
And I can blend it in with the plain color.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So Megan's speed paint's gonna be the banner. Is it gonna have the characters?
Not speed paint, digital poster.
Digital post.
Yeah, it's gonna have the characters.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Speed Paint's already been released for this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic. If you haven't seen that, check out the Gelectro. It's Giga Gelectro's Chamber.
Oh, is it
Speed
the?
paint.
Is it with the parallax?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's why I'm just like, especially after doing that, because we watched a video about game parallax, and I kind of saw an example of that, and I was just like, yeah, I need to go back and change some of the backgrounds and add some foreground and objects and stuff.
I can make it, by the way. I don't know if this is something we wanted in the game, but I know how to add a parallax to things in front of the player too. So if we wanted something,
I did think it'd be really cool if I had some like stalagmites and stalactites really close up,
Yeah.
and they'd be like solid black with like a little bit of a highlight on it.
Yeah,
I think
and we
that'd be
can do
really
that.
Cool.
That'd be really nice. I already have some objects in the foreground layer.
Oh yeah, but the parallax
but
is
they
a little
are-
different.
Yeah,
It has to be really big, or else it'll look really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're right.
I could do that too.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm gonna practice that on the surface cave with the parallax background objects and foreground objects.
Okay. Yeah, we're revamping our website though, because our website sucks a little bit. There's no content on it.
I wouldn't say it sucks. I would say that it was a dastardly thing to make on the internet. And we should feel ashamed.
We didn't really do much to make
It was
it.
a time
so-
crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just like, we need a website. There it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Does that template look okay? Our header looks awful. Well, maybe if we keep uploading random headers, it'll just look good eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe if we upload 10 million headers that are slightly different, we will find one that actually works.
Yeah.
We didn't. It doesn't really work.
It semi-worked.
I mean, it works on some monitors.
I was about to do an end game spoiler. I'm not even gonna say anything about that.
Oh,
though.
don't do that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I mean, it'll be out for like a few months after this, or we upload this, or whatever, right? But
I mean, yeah,
it's
because
still a
this,
spoiler.
This released early on Patreon, so for everyone who's on Patreon, look at you guys. You know, listen to this early on Patreon. But then it gets released a month after on YouTube
it's
for
still
public audience.
it's still spoilers.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I've started to make some other YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I've started to make Enter the Courierverse,
Oh, yeah.
and that's been fun. You forgot you made the title for it and everything.
Oh, did I do that this month?
Yes.
Yeah, I made the title to it because, well, not the first video's title.
Yeah, you want to shield yourself from that title. That first title was made by yours truly.
I tried to give Jonathan suggestions, but sometimes I just like he says things and I'm just like, oh, okay, it's fine.
The editing looks really good.
Yeah,
so.
the editing's good.
I'm
Jonathan's having a lot of fun
surprisingly
at that.
good at editing videos. I still have quite a few things to learn, though.
Yeah, but he spent a lot of time working on them. He has a lot of fun editing them and playing them and stuff.
Yeah, it's more of just a hobby at this point, but it's tied to my company because my company is my life.
Well, it's good to play games, so that you know what's out there, so that, we can apply things
Even
to
if
our
that
games.
game is Fallout New Vegas, a game that was released back in... When was Fallout New Vegas?
I mean, but
I don't know.
But
I didn't play
arguably,
it.
Fallout New Vegas is a really loved game by people.
Yes.
So it's good to play those
is.
type of games. It's even good to play bad games.
It's still a
Yes.
fantastic
so
game.
that you know what not to do and what to do.
Yep. Our
Yep.
game designer talked about that.
Yeah, it's actually better to play bad games than it is to play good games.
And also games that you wouldn't like to play but are really popular. Like, I remember he used the example of Farmville because he asked the class, how many of you have played Farmville? And we're like, no one did.
I did.
And he says that we should because it's popular.
I played
At
Farmville
the time.
once.
I don't know if it's still popular.
I got on, I planted some stuff, I got off, I came back, it was all dead, and I gave up.
I played Farmville for a straight week. It got into all of the multiplayer option things that they'd have, the whole like helping other people out and all that. I did a whole bunch of other stuff with it. Then I was done learning from it, so I stopped.
Makes sense. My mom loves those games.
I feel like the reason why people love it so much is that it's more of I guess a simple time waster where you can actually still socialize with other people.
My mom says she loves beating people.
So then that means that we're going back into the whole like different kinds of players.
Yeah.
So she's more of the competitive type.
Yeah, that has a scoreboard, and she makes sure she gets on to do her dailies, so she's always at the top of the scoreboard.
What are they called? The killers?
I think.
I think that's the type of player. So your mom's a killer.
Yeah.
I don't remember the types of players that we learned about. To be
There's
honest.
the killer, there's the explorer.
I know the explorer. I think
collector.
Yeah, the collector. I'm kind of a collector, especially in MMOs. That's the only reason I play MMOs is collect stuff like mounts and pets.
Typically
and
explorer
clothes.
and collector they can kind of be in the same thing, but you're definitely not an explorer.
I do like to explore sometimes, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm in the mood.
What I really like about MMOs specifically, or the one I play, is really intricate combat systems where it's like puzzles and you have to dodge the things and figure it out. What is that? What type of player am I?
Oh.
The puzzler. I don't know.
Trying to figure out how the system works, basically.
It's more like, it's not even figuring out the system because I'll go and watch a video on how it works and then do it. It's just that I like doing it. Like, I like beating the boss. I like, going through the...
I can't remember what that is called, though. It's like the person who likes the challenge
Yeah.
and overcoming the challenge.
Yeah.
I feel like that's on the tip of my tongue too. I can't remember that.
I can't remember. Because Killer is more focused on not really the challenge of the game, but the challenge that other people bring to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And an Explorer is just exploring, finding things. Collector is just finding things.
The
I'm looking it
Explorer
up.
is more about the environment, I would assume, because I know that Dylan specifically likes to explore and likes big worlds, not necessarily collecting the things in the worlds, just going to the different locations
Ooh,
and seeing
okay.
everything.
There's the killer, socializer, explorer, and achiever.
Achiever
Yeah.
is what you were.
There's not a collector.
Oh,
I guess
maybe it's part of the
Achiever-
Explorer then?
I guess achiever and explorer are kind of close to each other. There's like a chart here.
It's, of course, a four-way
Okay.
political chart.
There's on the far left is interacting, on the bottom is world, on the right is acting, and on the top is players.
That makes so much sense. I watched a video on what type of D&D player I am, and I'm the actor. And that's right next to the Achiever.
Because you're acting with the world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Explorer is interacting with the world.
And then socializer is interacting with players, and killer is
Acting.
with players.
With
So
players.
killing them.
Killing is definitely an action.
You should go back in and put this on the put that chart on the screen so they'll have a reference.
I mean, I can do that
Yeah.
more easily as well.
Yeah.
You sound very distressed right there.
No, I was just thinking.
Oh, but speaking of YouTube, Enter the Courierverse, hopefully everyone's actually enjoying that. I know that I am. And you know what? I don't even hope they're enjoying it. I know that you're enjoying it. So one of our videos,
We're actually gonna talk about it.
we're actually going to talk about it.
Okay.
So one of our videos, one of our old speed paints, so it was the speed paint for the High Cave I believe.
Yeah.
It was Crad?
Crad's boss background and the surface cave background.
Yeah. So that video apparently has a copyright claim on it for the music that I made.
One of the songs.
One of the songs that I made for it. It's the Glacier theme. And
which is weird they didn't claim the Glacier speed paint because that plays like all throughout it.
yeah, but they found that one specifically, and they decided that that apparently was copying a song of theirs that does not sound very similar.
I do think you can say that it isn't their song, because I see people on Twitter talking all the time about
Yeah.
how YouTube censorship is bullshit. And sorry if that's a bad word, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know if that's a bad word?
I
That
just
is.
think some people wouldn't consider it a bad
And
word.
at the same time, we don't really care about bad words
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
It's a-
I know it's one of the podcasts we did at the very beginning. People were like, don't say the...
It was us, not
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
As long as we don't, I guess, say too many of them.
Okay.
It's sort of like how PG movies have one F-bomb that they can use.
Okay.
We sort of operate on that.
But yeah, we listened to the song, and it sounds nothing like it, in my opinion. Jonathan was like, there's parts that sound similar. I'm like, I don't hear it. I don't hear it at all.
Even if it sounds similar, like, that's not a reason they can claim
Yeah,
your song.
exactly.
So...
Yeah, it's the backing that sounds almost similar.
It doesn't sound similar at all.
That's why I
Because-
said almost.
Because a
similar.
lot of songs, like, do sometimes artists take parts of songs.
They
and-
sample it.
Yeah, so, like, even if it's similar, like, you didn't reference it at all, so it probably isn't that similar, but even if it
Yeah.
was...
Because even then, I can just say if they are really gung ho about it, it's like it's a parody.
Yeah.
Can't touch me now.
Except it isn't, because you didn't even reference their song, you didn't even
That's
know
what I'm
about
saying.
their
If
song.
they're super gung ho about, yeah, I did not know about that song at all until they actually copyright claimed it. and
That's
it
why
was-
they're doing it, people...
You're right, they're just trying to make people watch their
Oh.
videos.
What if that was actually a way, like, to get their things out there? We need to start doing that. We need to start copyright claiming our stuff on other people's videos.
You need to go back and claim their video as your song.
It's like BMG. Come on, guys. You're copying our
claim
stuff.
that song for our the Glacier one. Just like the Glacier speed
It's the
paint.
only thing. No, I will not do
Yeah,
that.
we're not gonna do that.
But yeah, so I've been. I was scrolling down the videos into the Courierverse after uploading the third video, and I saw the copyright claim. I was like, what? What? I was expecting it maybe on the first Enter the Courierverse
Yeah.
video, but not on like an Evil Pig production actual video.
Yeah.
It was just confusing. So yeah, I have no idea what's going on with the dispute right now, so I'll have to check that after the podcast, and we'll find out. Who knows? Maybe it's done. Maybe they decide that yes, I do indeed own all that.
The song you made, maybe.
Yeah. So yeah.
Gonna copyright claim our game because
All of our videos with our game in it they're gonna copyright it. I'd be pretty mad.
I'd be very mad.
So hopefully they'll just get it settled on YouTube so they can't like say anything about it in the future.
Yeah.
You know.
And if they do decide to say anything about it, I'll do things. You better believe it. Not afraid.
I'm sure you could just, I'm sure there's a legal way. Like, you could just talk to your lawyer.
I
and
like
they'd
how you
be
say
like-
there's a legal way. I'm just like, what do you think I was going to do, Natalie? You think I was going to go in, kill all of the people, all the higher-ups?
I just don't think it'll be that hard, is what I'm saying. Like,
It
I'm
wouldn't
sure...
be that hard to kill them.
I meant to get the claim off.
Oh my god.
We don't condone
I could
the
be
killing.
wrong, I guess.
I mean, it is definitely wrong to kill them now.
You'd make a great reporter.
Misconstruing everything that someone says.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll make a great reporter. Maybe. But yeah, so everyone should go and watch Into the Courierverse and enjoy those. And apparently Megan was talking about possibly doing her own thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we
That
were
was in the
kind of
past,
thinking
though.
about
We
that.
talked about that last month a little bit.
Yeah. We
I
still
know.
haven't done anything about it.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
know.
Last month we just talked about how I was going to start doing it, and then I actually started doing it this month.
Would we have to edit our own?
No, I
No.
give Jonathan do that.
Okay.
I would do that as well.
Okay,
mean,
good.
We have to practice talking to each other though.
So
Yeah.
during my off hours, I'm going to be working on Evil Pig Productions. Then during my actual off hours, I'm going to be spending working on Evil Pig Productions.
Just set up a camera with me and you working, watching our like anime or the show we're watching in the background. Be like, yep, this is our whole playthrough.
Guys, you really can't do that
I
because
know.
then
It's a reaction video.
Yeah.
what if someone actually did that? They recorded it themselves watching something, and whenever I say they recorded themselves watching it, they just recorded themselves. Like they didn't record anything on there, just their faces, and it was like.
I mean, I think you're allowed to put the actual video in, like, as long as it's pretty small in the corner, because it's all over YouTube, where, like, I watched this SpongeBob episode and react the whole way through, you know?
I'm not particularly a fan of those unless
I'm
it's
not
like
either.
cut up.
Yeah.
Usually cut up to like the good parts. I think
Yeah.
that's how reaction videos should be.
I know that I watched one video like that where they were watching Blue Exorcist, the first episode of Blue Exorcist.
Mhm.
And that's how I was introduced to that anime. We need to stop talking about anime.
Yeah.
That sounds weird. In fact, maybe it's time to just stop talking in general.
I hope you guys enjoyed.
We know you guys enjoy.
Probably not my technical spills.
Don't worry, I'll edit those out.
Oh, okay.
All right, so until next time, guys, I've been Jonathan Moore,
I'm Megan Slay.
I'm Natalie Thompson.
and we will talk to you in your ear holes.
Next month.
See you then.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.